What's up? Hi, Chief. Happy first day of spring, everyone. Hope your day has been swell. You got your popcorn, Chief. You're ready. And we are going to Spain today, everyone. Gonna have quite a few really nice and fresh ingredients being used today. Probably one of my favorite potato dishes is what we're making. So really excited to share that one with you. Mama Reagan, hi. Good to see you in here. All right, guys. So, menu today, we are doing an herb crusted pork tenderloin. And I'm going to make a really nice kind of sweet pepper and olive tapenade to go with that. And we'll probably just spoon that sauce over the pork once it's sliced and good to go. And then patatas bravas, so very famous Spanish tapas style dish. But I'm gonna serve that with our main course today because it is so delicious. And then typically it has either like kind of a spicy tomato sauce or some kind of aioli with it, but I'm doing both. So I'm gonna do a roasted garlic tomato sauce and a truffle aioli as well. Going a little bit expensive today here, I guess. And then that's also gonna be topped with some manchego cheese shavings. So a little bit rich, but the rest of our meal is really nice and fresh. So you always have to contrast it, right? You need that balance. And then our veg today is just some asparagus that's gonna be roasted with cumin. And then we're gonna toss it after it's done with some lemon zest to keep our dish nice and light. Our timeline, so our pork is going to take about 2 hours because we're using the sous-vide. But if you don't have a sous-vide or you just don't want to use it, it'll probably take max like 30 minutes in the oven to roast. Or if you want, you can start it in a pan, sear it up really nice, and then it won't take quite as long in the oven. But total time, I would think, if you're going to bake it or pan roast it in the oven, 30 minutes from start to finish. Because we do have to crust it with the pork or with the herbs as well. So give yourself enough time to do that. And the potatoes today will probably take about 45 minutes total. So we'll start those later on. We'll do up our sauces first and then start our potatoes when we're about an hour left of the stream. And then those are going to be baked in the oven. So we're going to make them really nice and crispy. Very important part here. You need those potatoes to be crispy. Typically they are deep fried when they're served, but I'm not deep frying today. I decided to do something a little bit different, probably a little bit more healthy too, and just bake them in the oven with some really nice olive oil. All right, so the tomato sauce today. This will take you a little bit of time to make it right. So we're gonna start with a whole head of garlic and we're gonna peel it up, just smash our cloves so they're broken down a bit. And then we're gonna roast those kind of in a pot on the stovetop in some olive oil. So medium to low heat, and then we're gonna let that get nice and golden brown, and then we'll pour our tomatoes into that. So lots of olive oil, lots of garlic in this sauce. And then it should reduce for about an hour to an hour and a half. You want it to get really nice and thick because that's where all of your flavor is, right? All right, truffle aioli. That can be whipped up in like 5 minutes. All we're doing is taking some mayo and a little bit of truffle oil, maybe a squeeze of lemon juice if we think we need it, and just mixing that up in a bowl, and you're done. That's the easy part. And then for the asparagus, we just have to trim the ends off, toss it with a little bit of olive oil, cumin, salt, and pepper, and it should take about 8 to 10 minutes to roast in the oven. So our potatoes are gonna roast at 450 Fahrenheit, so nice high temp. And we want that high temp for our asparagus too, to get a little bit of char hopefully on it. And then it should be done within 10 minutes at that temperature. So hot and fast. Yeah, thick. Exactly, Chief. We need that thick sauce. All right, ingredients. So all the recipes are posted on the Discord already. If you are new here and are not in Discord, the invite is on my channel page. So just click that link there. And then all the recipes are in PDF, so you could print them off and make them for yourself at home. So I am using 2 pork tenderloins. We should get about 6 to 8 servings from this, depending on how much meat you like to eat, I guess. And then for our crust, so first thing going on the pork will be a little bit of Dijon mustard to help everything else stick. And even if you don't like mustard, you have to use it here. Like, you're not gonna taste that very strong mustard flavor later on. Basically just helps everything adhere, and then we carry on. And then you'll want to pick a couple of different kinds of herbs. So I have outside right now, lucky me, thyme, rosemary, and sage. So I picked a little bit of that today. Obviously less of like the strong herbs. So just 1 sprig of rosemary, a couple little leaves of sage, and then 3 or 4 sprigs of thyme. And then I will bulk those out later on with parsley that I have in the fridge. And then obviously salt and pepper as well. That's a must. And that's all gonna go onto the pork before we sous vide it. And then the sous vide is gonna kind of help all those things stick on really nice. And then we'll just dry off the pork after, and then finish it up in a really hot pan to get our nice sear on there. I guess you could also do the pork like reverse sear method. So putting it into a really, really low temp oven for an hour or 2, and then taking it out and then searing it in the pan after as well. It's like the poor man's version of a sous vide, I guess. Okay, olive and roasted red pepper sauce. So this will yield maybe about a cup. I've never made this before, so I could be wrong. But we will use 6 sweet mini bell peppers. So if you guys have not been in here before when I've used these, they're like about half the size of a pepper, I guess. So maybe use 2 large bell peppers. But I like to use those little ones because they are really nice and sweet. Thanks, Chief. It's supposed to be like a purple/indigo, but I've never seen the purple come out of it yet. This was actually one of my first aprons that I got. And he didn't really have a purple-ish fabric when he started making them, so this was the closest thing. But I guess it looks a little bit purple in different lighting. But my other purple apron is legit purple. I'm a fanatic. Okay, the rest of our pepper sauce, we are gonna do 1 clove of garlic, so not very heavy on that. 1/3 cup of mixed olives, so like green, black, whatever you can find in your deli. And they're typically marinated as well. And then 1/3 cup of Kalamata olives. Both of these need to be pitted, because we don't want to be biting down on any pits when we eat our sauce. That's silly. And then 1 teaspoon of capers for a little bit of brininess. That will be near the end where that goes in. And a little bit of oregano too. Like a 1/4 teaspoon, not very much at all. Let's say a pinch. And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So we're gonna saute up our peppers and garlic first. Get those nice and caramelized, and then we'll take that off the heat and mix in everything else. And then that will be spooned over the pork. So roasted garlic tomato sauce, 1 full head of garlic, probably 1/3 cup of olive oil. So it's really rich. And then 2 cans of tomatoes. I am just using the diced kind. And then salt and pepper, which we're definitely not gonna add any of the salt and pepper till the end, because we are reducing this sauce quite a bit. So we don't wanna make it overly salted, because then we'd have to add more water to bulk it out, which is not what we wanna do. And then this sauce I typically put underneath of the patatas. Bravas. And then on top is where we drizzle the Truffle Aioli that we're gonna make, and then the cheese shavings. So, so good. Okay, Patatas Bravas. I'm using 7 to 8 russet potatoes. They're fairly large. You could use really any potato that you like here. So sometimes we've used the little red potatoes or the little Yukon Golds as well. Just cube them up to like somewhat of a bite-sized piece. That's also one of the best things about this recipe is the potatoes are just usually cut up really random sizes. And then we're gonna dress our potatoes with olive oil again, some smoked paprika and cayenne pepper. So there is our Spanish flavors as well. So probably about 1 to 2 tablespoons of the smoked paprika. That's also gonna help brown the potatoes in the oven. And half a teaspoon of cayenne. So just a little bit of heat since we're not putting that into our tomato sauce. And then obviously our manchego cheese for garnish. And if we want to, we could also chop up some more parsley for garnish if you wanted some more contrast. All right, asparagus. So I said about 5 handfuls of asparagus spears, but I have 2 bags here that are pretty large. And that's about 2 kilos of asparagus that we have. And then once again, toss it with some olive oil and our cumin. Salt and pepper for sure before this goes into the oven. And then we will just zest our fresh lemon over top of that afterwards. Alpha, what did I cook? I have not started cooking anything yet. Just going over the plan for today. Thank you. I got gifted a Reese snack. Yes. All right, order of prep. So first thing we have to do is prep our pork for the sous vide. And then we are going to start our tomato sauce after that, because that's also going to take quite a bit of time to make properly. We're not going to rush it. And then while those 2 things are going, that gives us time to prep the rest of our dinner. So we're going to make our truffle aioli. We're going to do our pepper and olive tapenade, cut up our potatoes. And then one interesting thing I found about the patatas bravas is a recipe I looked at. They cut up the potatoes and then soak them in hot water for about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna guess that pulls out a little bit of the excess starches, and then they dry them off and then we roast them. So I think that's gonna help us get really, really nice crisp potatoes. I've never tried that before, but interesting, and I am totally gonna try it today because I wanna see what happens. And then we're going to prep our asparagus, do our little cheese shavings ahead of time as well, so that we're not kind of rushing around when we're going to plate later on. And then when we have 40 minutes left in the stream, we're gonna put our potatoes into the oven, 450 Fahrenheit for about 20 to 30 minutes. And we will give them a little toss halfway through that cook time, just to make sure it gets completely crispy. There's no soft spots left. And then with 10 minutes left, obviously our pork's gonna be done by that time, chilling on the side. We're gonna sear our pork off and then roast our asparagus in the oven as well. So at this point, your asparagus should go into the top rack of your oven. That way you'll probably get a nice little char on top of it. And the potatoes would have been in there for long enough that we can move them down a couple of racks and they won't suffer at all. And that is it, guys. So a little bit of fun facts today, or history, not too much. It's kind of disappointed that I didn't find a lot of fun facts, but we'll start with the patatas bravas and then go from there. We'll do a little bit of sous vide kind of info as well before we start, because this meal won't take too long to prep. All right, patatas bravas is a dish native to Spain, often served as a tapa in bars. It typically consists of white potatoes that have been cut into irregular shapes of about 2 centimeters, then fried in oil and served warm with a sauce, such as a spicy tomato sauce or an aioli. So we're doing both today, but we're spicing up our potatoes, not our tomato sauce. This dish is commonly served in restaurants and bars throughout Spain. The potatoes are boiled in salted water for several minutes to tenderize them. So we're not doing that today, but we are gonna do the little soaking method that I found. Then the potatoes are rubbed dry and deep fried. So in Burgos in Spain, the sauce is tomato based, but it also includes vinegar, red pepper, and a variety of spices. The sauce also accompanies patatas aioli, a form of fried potato traditionally prepared with olive oil and garlic. In Valencia and Catalonia, the potatoes are covered in a sauce made of olive oil, red pepper, paprika, chili, and vinegar. In these areas, the dish is traditionally served alongside aioli. So the patatas bravas are served in bars servings that contain approximately 1/4 kilo of potatoes. It's quite a bit. And then you can also order it with a number of extra toppings like chorizo, baked chicken, or fried fish. I never got the add-ons when I was there, but definitely had them as a tapas, and they were delicious. And then this is a dish I've also cooked in some of the restaurants that I've worked at as well. Really, really good. And it always sells well. Like it's a dish that pretty much everyone would like, I think. All right, so busted bunghole with the follow. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so in Britain it's the chip, stateside the fry, the French eat pommes frites, and the Belgians do too. Cultural identities can be distinguished in the choice of ketchup, mayo, vinegar, and salt. Very little in the culinary world can arouse our enthusiasm or make us so opinionated as the fried potato. In Spain, there is only one winner, originating in Madrid and served everywhere. It consists of chunky fried potatoes doused in a day-glow sauce made of hot pimenton, saffron, sherry vinegar, tomatoes, garlic, sugar, and sometimes even ham. There are probably as many different recipes as there are bars that serve it, but nowhere has more of a claim on the original as Madrid's Las Bravas, meaning the little bar that opened for business in the capital city's La Latina district in 1933. So all the way back to 1933. In or around 1950, the owners, who had been serving mainly sardines, started serving up their fried potatoes with a spicy sauce, and it did so well for them that these days there are 2 or more branches in the neighborhood and a whole country full of copycats. All right, Spanish cuisine. Let's do a little bit of history into that before we start. It's heavily influenced by regional cuisines and the particular historical processes that shaped culture and society in those territories. Geography and climate had great influence on cooking methods and available ingredients, and these particularities are still present in the gastronomy of the various regions that make up the country. Spanish cuisine derives from a complex history where invasions of the country and conquests of new territories modified traditions and made new ingredients available. History, yay! I know, so good. So good. I just need a little sippy here. Throat's getting dry. Spain before the Roman Empire, Spain used to be divided into 3 territories for 3 different clans. The Celts, north of Spain, the Iberians, center east, and the Tartessos, the southerners. The Celts were a warrior-based community and lived in small fortified round houses. They fished and farmed. Even today, we can see their influence as the north of Spain is renowned for their mariscos, or seafood. The Iberians were mainly hunters and cattle keepers. The center of Spain is still considered to have great quality meat. The Tartessos were goldsmiths and did a lot of trading with Africa and Greece. So a continental style breakfast may be taken just after waking up or before entering their workplace. Due to the large time span between breakfast and lunch, it is not uncommon to halt the working schedule to take a mid-morning snack. I'm in. Lunch, the large midday meal in Spain, contains several courses. It usually starts between 2 or 2:30 p.m. and finishes around 3 or 3:30 p.m. and is usually followed by sobremesa, which refers to the table talk that Spanish people undertake. So not only do they feast for like an hour, but they also have nice conversations afterwards and don't just like look at their phones, right? Menus are organized according to these courses and include 5 or 6 choices in each course. At home, Spanish meals wouldn't be too fancy and would contain soup or a pasta dish, salad, a meat or a fish dish, and a dessert such as fruit or cheese. Green salad with the meat or fish courses. In some regions of Spain, the word almuerzo refers to the mid-morning snack instead of lunch. La cena, meaning both dinner or supper, is taken between 8:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. So pretty late they eat, hey? Like, I feel like North Americans always say, oh, don't eat after 8 p.m. because it's bad for you, right? But the Spanish eat like way, way after that. And honestly, they're some of the fittest people that I've seen. It's lighter than lunch, consisting of 1 course and dessert. Due to the large time span between lunch and dinner, an afternoon snack, la merienda, equivalent to afternoon tea, may take place at about 6 p.m. Appetizers before lunch or dinner are common in the form of tapas, so they could be eating Patatas Bravas in the bar like right after dinner or right after work. That's a thing. In the last years, the Spanish government is starting to take action to shorten the lunch break in order to end the working day earlier. Most businesses shut down for 2 to 3 hours for lunch, then resume the working day until dinner time in the evening. So yes, they take a long lunch, but they also have to make up for all those lost hours by working later. So I don't know if I would like that, right? Like, that's very different to what we're used to. But I don't mind kind of the schedule that they have where like eating a much larger lunch and a smaller dinner. That's good for you. And now we are going to move on to the sous-vide stuff. So why cook pork tenderloin sous vide? It may seem obvious to say it, but pork tenderloin is the beef tenderloin of the pork world. And it comes with all of the same features, both good and bad. On the good side is the fact that it's extremely tender, the tenderest cut of meat on the hog. On the bad side, well, as a muscle that's rarely used during the pig's lifetime, it's extremely mild flavored to the point of being nearly bland, and it's also very lean, which makes it difficult to cook evenly. Lean meat conducts heat faster than fatty meat, which leads to a greater chance of overcooking. This is one of the worst dishes that I've cooked. I know someone asked me that the other day. They're like, what's the worst thing you ever cooked? An overcooked pork tenderloin. Literally the worst thing ever. Not afraid to say it. All right, moreover, because of its leanness, overcooked tenderloin is particularly unforgiving. You heard it. Dry, chalky, and tough to swallow. Like, you would not be able to eat the pork tenderloin being like overcooked without having water beside you, because you'd probably choke to death. Cooking sous vide solves both of these problems. Flavor-wise, it's easy to add aromatics or spices to the sous vide bag along with the pork, building that flavor right into the meat. You can also reinforce the flavor with more aromatics when you subsequently sear the roast afterwards. As for texture, with sous vide cooking, overcooked meat is a thing of the past. Sous vide allows for perfectly even, edge-to-center cooking with complete control, whether you like your pork pink or gray. What happened, Chief? What are you saying me to? You overcooked it too? So, what temp should we use? Fecal fetus with the follow. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. We're gonna get started in the next 5 minutes here, guys. When you're working with quick cooking meats like steaks, pork chops, or pork tenderloin, the texture and juiciness of the finished product are directly related to the temperature to which it is cooked. Pork starts to firm up and expel moisture at around 120 Fahrenheit or so. So like just under medium rare, with its firmness and dryness increasing as the temperature goes up. So we are gonna go for around 135 Fahrenheit today. And that's right in between medium rare and medium. So we're not gonna bring it all the way over to medium to begin with because it's gonna rise in temp a little bit when we cook it in the pan for the second time. Oh, that was your question? Yay! Good, Chief. I'm glad I answered it. But you can totally cook the pork sous vide depending on whatever your kind of temp you want. If you like it more medium well, this is still going to be better than doing any dry cooking methods. So, is pink pork safe? While eating any meat rare poses health risks, particularly for the elderly, pregnant, or very young, these days pork is just about as safe to eat as rare beef is. That is, so long as you are working with properly stored, cleanly cut meat and searing the exterior before serving. The risk of illness from consuming rare pork is very minimal. With sous vide cooking, you have another advantage, pasteurization. At 130 Fahrenheit, so just under what we are going for temp today, bacteria is actively being destroyed on the surface of the pork. Every moment that it's in the cooker, it's becoming safer to eat. At higher temperatures, the rate of destruction is even faster. Because of this, sous vide is a great introduction to the wonderfully juicy world of rare or medium rare pork. I'm not a huge fan of like medium rare pork just because of the texture part of it. Fetus. You're drenched in unsalted butter, the pan is smoking hot, and you're ready for a nice sear. I love it. Glad you're pumped up. We're almost ready to go. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's do this. First things first, let us prep our pork up. Get that all nicely crusted and into a couple of Ziploc bags. And then I have my lovely Anova app. Is that asparagus? It is. It is. No, it's not the worst. It's delicious. You just need to know how to cook it / pick it right. Let's get our sous vide heating up while we prep the pork. Found the app. We're going in. Fring. It says at the bottom, it's looking for the Anova. Kate, it found it. So here's like the best part. So it says, what are you cooking? So you can either find a recipe from the app or make up your own. So I'm gonna say pork tenderloin, and then all we have to do is set our temp, so 135, and the time, 1 hour, 30 minutes. and then go from there. Press start. Should hear a little beep. There we go. So current temperature of our water right now is at 105.4 Fahrenheit, so it'll take a little bit to heat up. Fiscal, hello. What's going on? Time to bring the board over. Hello, fish. And these are massive. Like I was saying the other day when we bought these pork tenderloins, like these have definitely gotten bigger in the last, let's say, 10 years that we've been using them. Like they used to be about half this size. It's insane. Like what are they doing to these pigs? The menu sounds yummy. Yeah, we're doing Spanish food. Super delicious. One of my favorite places to travel. And there's always like so many snacks around in Spain. It's kind of dangerous. So I think I'm just gonna kind of crust these on a plate to start. And then I will just add one more bag. So we're gonna separate these into 2 different bags just so it cooks really evenly and so the crust also doesn't get kind of stuck to each other. And then I'm just gonna grab some Dijon mustard from the fridge and our parsley. So you just gotta do a little bit of herb chopping first and then we'll get on our way. Here's the rest of the stuff, guys. Potatoes. We got our truffle oil, aka the cheap version of truffles. I think those bottles are around 20 bucks. I'm just gonna get a little bowl out so that we can mix up our herbs before we crust it. So is anyone cooking anything exciting today? What herbs am I using? So I have some fresh sage, some thyme, and rosemary that I just picked from the garden earlier. Lucky us. And then just some flat leaf parsley. And this was actually such a nice bunch of parsley. Like the leaves are so nice and small. And nothing's wilting or anything. It's perfect. But you can use whatever you want, Fiscal. You really can. Like if you wanted, you can add dill. Or even cilantro if you want. Or oregano. It's up to you. Just try to use like 2 or 3 different ones. That way you get a nice medley of everything. So we're gonna chop these pretty fine as well. That way it'll get distributed really nice. Frying chicken because it's snowy. Fried chicken is not a lazy thing. That's awesome, Chief. Sounds delicious. Oh man, Chief, today at the farm, they had the cutest little farm dog there. Actually, it wasn't that little. It looks like a lab pit bull cross, except it was like white with brown and black splotches all over. Like as soon as I walked up, it's just like started doing circles on its little chain that it was attached to. I was like, is this dog like upset that I'm here, or is it gonna be nice? And then it just like got all shy when I got closer. I was like, okay, come here. And it just like ran up to me. Super cute. Love those farm dogs. And then the lady said it was a rescue dog, so it's a very good rescue dog, I have to say. And I'm chopping all the herbs separately just to make sure that I can keep it consistent in size. Because the sage is, I guess, a lot less tough than rosemary and thyme. And then obviously the rosemary is larger than the thyme. So by the time that was completely chopped up, the thyme would be like just disintegrated, right? And I don't even know how many times I've made this herb medley in a restaurant. Like liters worth of chopped herbs for garnishing dishes. Insane amounts. Excited to see a celeb. That's cute. Are you crazy? Don't downplay the internet fame. Man, I only have like average of 15 people. That's nothing compared to other people I see. Just gotta take it day by day. Stay humble. This dog next door, though, I'm gonna start barking back at it and see what it does. Like, holy. Yeah, one day at a time, man. That's it. I'm not stopping anytime soon either. Like, our cost of ingredients is gonna go down so much in the summer once we get our garden going. And then if I'm doing volunteering at Sea Bluff, we're allowed to take home veg as well. So pretty much all we'll be buying is like a couple different veg that we don't grow, and then meats and starches. Okay, this is where we're at. Yeah, free veg for the win. And then they also do like a staff meal at the farm. So they take turns cooking meals for the staff. And I was like, well, I can easily do that for you guys. Maybe I'll try and like bake a loaf of bread or something to bring over a couple of times. Because that's cheap. It's like one of the cheapest things. Flour and water. Okay, so our sous vide is already at 123. It doesn't take very long to heat up at all. See if Doggo will eat parsley stems. Make her breath nice and fresh. Just puts the whole thing onto the ground. Not having any of it. Chief. You would marry bread? I like it. I mean, it might be legal. You never know. Okay, the last choppy. So I always just kind of line up my parsley in a line and then make like 5 or 6 passes over it. The initial one, just go pretty slow. We're just trying to break it up. And then group it back up together. I feel like sneeze coming on. Excuse me. Thanks. Any house you visit, you ask for bread. Hilarious. Do you have any bread? And it's always good to use a really nice sharp knife when you're topping parsley so that you actually cut through the leaves and not just bruise them up and make it like mushed. Thanks, Chief. I'm blessed. Alright, I think I'm good with that. I'll just mix all this up. Then we'll dress our pork with the mustard and salt and pepper and then start kind of pressing this herb mixture onto the outside. Or kind of rolling it in it, I guess. Let's do one at a time on the plate, I think. Let's do both. Let's do it. And I might need to have to touch these up as well. Do a little bit of trimming of the silver skin. I'm just gonna get my bags kind of all prepped so I can just drop in the pork after though. Blue today. We're using the fish one. Breaking the rules. Just gonna grab my boning knife. Alright, so this is the part that we're taking off. This is the silver skin, and that's not gonna break down at all when we cook it. So always best to trim that off first. And then it typically ends about halfway down. Death! What's up, what's up? Good to see you in here, man. And then we're just gonna make a slit in. And then go along our silver skin, trying to get the least amount of meat on it as possible. So that was pretty good there. Just a little bit more. And then peel it back. A little bit left on this side. So we're just taking all the like shiny stuff off. The rest of the stuff on the outside of the tenderloin is typically just fat. So that's gonna break down, and it's also gonna help to keep it nice and moist. A little bit left up here. Like so. And then a little bit of silver skin here from where they cleared it. Done. And then there's this piece that's kind of hanging off. So you can choose to clean this off since it's kind of hanging off, or just kind of clean it up to make the tenderloin consistent in size. So I took that little piece off. And now that side is a lot nicer and smooth. And I think I'm gonna leave the other side on because it's still nicely attached. Don't worry, I'm not gonna throw out that piece of meat. I'll fry it up later on when we pan sear our tenderloins. You missed the stream, but you had to sleep. It's okay. I'll always forgive you, don't worry. Sleep is way more important. Oh no, Chief. Stay strong, man. Death is cooking all of the food today. Enough for the neighbors too, I'm guessing. Oh, that means the sous vide's ready. You better hurry our butts up. Dang, man. It's definitely a tough battle that most people don't understand what you go through, right? Alright, this is looking good. There's really no other pieces that I feel like I should have to clean off. So you know what? I'm just gonna use this cutting board now. And I'm gonna roll my stuff out that way. Get a spoon for our mustard, and here we go. I knew you were gonna say that, Death. I don't want to type it out right now. I'm busy. stuffed chicken, veggie salad, sauteed mushrooms and onions, 5 types of shepherd's pie. You've never made it before, so let's just start with 5. That's amazing, dude. I love it. Okay, let's give this a little massagey. And we want to do this complete tenderloin in mustard. But we only want enough so that it can help the salt and pepper and the herbs stick to the outside. We don't just want to like douse it in mustard. That's not the flavor that we're going for here. You've never had shepherd's pie either? Oh, I made it in a stream like a while back. It was really, really good. Get the S&P out. Oh, our salt jar is looking a little slim here, guys. Just a little. I guess that's what we get to listen to for the rest of the day. Yo, that. Alright, so this is a salt that I typically use. Mediterranean sea salts. And this is the fine grind, I guess. Stocking it back up. Let's do some peps first. I'm gonna use tongs for this part, just so I don't have to keep washing my hands every 2 seconds. And then a nice coating of salt. We don't have to go too heavy here because we are seasoning the tenderloin all the way around. How long does this jar typically last me? That's a good question. I think maybe like a week. Not even. Or not even, I know. It's like kind of a disgusting amount if you think about it, but is my food ever over salted, Betty?
Not usually, no.
Okay.
You're also cooking 8 to 10 meals a day.
It's true, yeah. So I'm cooking quite a bit of food all the time as well, right? And then it also goes into the waters for like pasta and potatoes. So that's a good amount as well. Psychic Badger, hello. What's going on? Okay, let's get our little mix up of our herbs. Smells super good. And just do our sprinkling. Pat it on. Do a little flip. Not much, Badger. Chillin'. Just crusting up some pork tenderloins here. And then they're gonna go into the sous-vide. Trump, I beat you to it. What's up? And just kind of massage whatever sides of the pork are kind of lacking in herbs. pretty good to me. I mean, we don't have to go super, super heavy. Maybe I'll do like one more little sprinkle. And we're just gonna toss that into our Ziploc bag for the sous vide. Yeah, that looks good to me. Like so. But wrap it in Parma ham. I'm gonna save the Parma or prosciutto for Wellington Day on Thursday. But otherwise, I totally, totally would. I'm happy you're here, but what's going on? So all I've put on it so far is Dijon mustard. And then salt and pepper. And then parsley, thyme, sage, and rosemary. Ooh, Mediterranean rub. Nice. Sounds so good. So you'd be using like more oregano and stuff like that. Oh my God, but did they not feel weird? Like, how did you not notice? Or was it just like too late and you just committed to it? You just gotta work it and pretend like nothing's wrong. All right, mustard coating looks good. Red pepper flakes, oregano, garlic. Nice. Yeah, I'm not going really garlicky on here just because we're making up a garlicky tomato sauce later on to go with potatoes. But just being thick. Actually, before I start herbage, do our salt and pepper first so that it can penetrate the meat, not just stay on the outside. Trump's using secret ingredients. I'm not surprised. You never know what that Trump is up to. Penetrate the meat. It's true. You gots to. Treason. Oh my God, that was a good one. All right, salt, looking good. Bacon wrapped. Bacon wrapped what? Can't just say bacon wrapped and then fried. Balsamic vinegar, red wine, green and red grapes. That sounds so good. Oh, pork tenderloin, yeah. I know, you can put really any flavor with this piece of meat. Just because it is, like, sad to say, kind of bland. in the flavor department, which is why we need to spice it up a little bit. Okay, herbs, gone. Done and done. Just pat these on. See if we're missing any spots. Or if we're good. Maybe like a little bit on this piece right here. Just gonna scrape some up. Spread it back over it. Like so. From leggings to a dress, yeah. Just don't wear the dress backwards too. Smoked salt flakes, nice. I have some of those as well. All right. Isn't it your son's B-Day? Why are you on Twitch? As you do. Okay, so to lower in your stuff into the sous vide, if you're using Ziploc bags and you're not vac packing it, since we don't have a vac pack yet, but hopefully soon, all you have to do is kind of close up your Ziploc about like 80% of the way. Just leave a little air hole for it to escape, and then as we lower our bag in, the water pressure is going to push all of the air out of the bag. So lower it as far down as you can and then seal it up, and pretty much completely sealed with no air. That's the little sneaky way to do it. Oh, nice. You're doing some gardening today. That's awesome. Wow, it's actually turned out to be a really nice day here. Okay, lid is coming off. First one's going in. So as we lower the bag down, there's going to be like no air left in it. And then you just zip it up like so. I'm going to put this one on this side and then do the other one on the other side, just so the water can circulate really well. Boom, second one done. Now all I have to do is set the timer, and I'll adjust that with the app on my phone. How long does sous vide take? You don't have a machine. Also, when it's cooked, is it hot or cold? So sous vide, typically minimum an hour, up to 3 for like a pork tenderloin. I would not go more than 3 because then it will start to get like pasty and kind of fall apart, which we don't want. So I'm doing an hour and a half on this today. Let me just restart my Anova, and then that'll count down for me. So kind of like the middle point. But if you're in a rush, you can easily do it in an hour, which is great. It's not that long. And then it's obviously hot in there. Like, it's hot to the touch, the water. And then we're going to take it out when it's done, let it rest for a couple minutes, and then you're able to pan fry it like right away and then cut into it. Super easy. There's a lot of stuff online though, as far as like articles to read and how to use it. Hi, Daddy. Welcome back. And Jim's here today. Hi. Will I be doing the puff pastry from scratch or pre-made? So pre-made. I got 3 kind of packs that I found frozen with 10 by 10 inch sheets. I mean, I could have made it. It's just a pain in the butt. It takes like 3 days to make from scratch. So I'm just gonna cheat and use the bought stuff, and hopefully it tastes good. Dongs, we're just spamming chefy words today. I know. It's crazy in here. Oh, that's not my dog, Trump. Definitely not my dog. It's the neighbor's dog who is super annoying, barks all the time. I know, 3 days to make like a proper puff pastry because you have to rest the dough in between. And then that's what makes it so flaky and not tough. And I also haven't made it in like 7 years since culinary school. Did I forget something for you? What, Daddy? What did I forget? Bacon wrapped asparagus. Yum. Yeah, exactly. Posh knows better. She's trained well. All right. Pork is in. Feels good. Now we have like an hour and a half to kind of do whatever we want. The OBS settings. So we looked yesterday, Daddy, and on my MacBook, there are no settings like that in OBS. And so then we took the camera over to my boyfriend's computer, which is a PC, and we looked into his OBS and it had all of the settings that you were talking about. So not able to do it on my MacBook, but in like 30 days, we're going to be switching over and then we'll be good to go. Whether it's the OBS settings or the internet, we will solve both of those problems at once. Just getting a little refill on my water real quick. And I might have to have a little chocolate snack. Yeah, I think OBS for Mac is like not set up quite right, and it sucks. But I don't feel like running like 30 feet of wiring across my house to make it work right now when we're moving in a month. All right, on to our tomato sauce. So 2 cans of tomatoes because it's gonna reduce quite a bit. We'll probably end up with about 2 cups of sauce. I know it seems crazy. And then we're using, okay, I originally said a head of garlic, but maybe I'll do a little bit less. Two, 4, 6, 8. Do like 10 cloves of garlic. I know it seems like a lot, but I've made the sauce before, so I know what it ends up being, and it's amazing. So we're just gonna crush these up to start. We don't have to process them really any further than that. We used to make this sauce before in like 20-liter batches. Disgusting amounts. for the restaurant. And like I said earlier, the Patatas Bravas is like a dish that everyone loves. And there's so many ways to make it as well. So this is my own way. Feel free to kind of create your own. Like you can make the tomato sauce more spicy than garlicky if you wanted.
I don't think I've actually ever had it.
You never had it?
I don't know.
We had it at the Glass House.
With what?
It was an app.
Yeah, I don't think I've had it.
And then I think we've also made this into like kind of a poutine style as well with cheese curds in it. 'Twas dirty, but so good. Gonna have garlic fingers after this for sure. Good thing we're processing some fresh lemon later on to get rid of that. So next thing we're gonna do is get a saucepan heating up with olive oil in it, and a really, really good amount of olive oil here. We're gonna kind of roast our garlic in the olive oil before we start. So I said about 1/3 of a cup of olive oil to roast this. Let's get a little switcheroo on our can. I'm just gonna do it this way for now. You guys are good with that. Ta-da! And then the thing with olive oil here is you can't turn it up very high, right? So a nice medium-low heat is gonna be perfect. And that way the garlic's not gonna burn either. Okay, I'm gonna measure out this 1/3 cup and then see where we're at. Yeah, I think that will be a good enough amount. There's about like 1/4 inch of olive oil on the bottom there. Let's just leave this out because we'll definitely need it later on. And we can toss our garlic in right away. And just let that come up to temp slowly. The garlic should not stick at all. Then we're gonna open up our tomato cans. And it's gonna start to smell really nice in here. Roasted garlic, hard to beat. Jim, you still in here, dude? Tell me what's new. I feel like you've been like lost lately. You're not on Discord. You've been away. Have you still been like really sick? Alright, tomatoes are good to go. We'll just set those beside the pot. You have a cold again? Oh my gosh. That's brutal. Hi, butt. We're still here. All right, let's take a little Reese snack break. I'm sorry, Jim, but Betty made me. It's the Easter version, mini Reese cup. It's giving me energy for the rest of the stream. You're okay, you had McDonald's. Well, you're taken care of then. Was it tasty? All right, time to make the Truffle Aioli. Man, sometimes you just need a break like that to kind of reset. Get your mind right. It can get so monotonous if you're just doing the same thing every single day. Oh yeah, garlic's dancing a little bit. Trying to fight that glare in that pot, but does not seem to be working. You're just weak. I doubt it, dude. I doubt it. All right, good old Hellman's mayo going in. We'll do maybe a little bit more. About a cup's worth, let's say. And then our truffle oil. You definitely do not need lots of this. Like half a teaspoon is lots. A little goes a long, long way. One of my favorite smells. And then we're just gonna mix this up till it's smooth. Give it a taste, and then probably gonna squeeze in a little bit of fresh lemon juice. All right, that's smooth. I actually need just a touch more. Yeah, exactly. It's good to take a break when you're sick. Don't overwork your body. Did she get her dinner yet? She's getting it right now, but taking care of that doggo. Just a touch of fresh lemon juice. Maybe like a teaspoon, that's it. And then that will make the truffle oil just taste a lot nicer and not as strong. Yeah, dongs. I guess that's a good way to put it. So obviously the truffle oil is mixed with olive oil, right? So there's definitely more olive oil than truffles in it. So it's not as strong compared to like a nice fresh truffle. But the oil is just really easy to mix into other things, I guess. There we go. Perfect. So a little bit of truffle, a little bit of lemon juice. And then you don't really taste like that really eggy mayo flavor either. See what's going on in here. All right, it's frying up a little bit. Just gonna turn it down a touch. And then our truffle oil can just be put in the fridge until we use it. Keep it cold. Oh, it's smelling good already. Blistering up, getting all roasty toasty. Just gonna flip them over. Alright, next thing up, our pepper and olive tapenade. So first things first, get 5 or 6 of these little peppers out. Let's do one more. Nice little color combo. And then 1 clove of garlic. That's it going into this. Letting the tomato sauce be the really garlicky component here. And we'll also need another little pot out because we're gonna cook this. And let us start prepping our peppers. So no seeds, guys. Just do like 4 or 5 cuts along the outside and then should come out clean like this. And then all of your flesh is really nice. This is just my way of cutting peppers though. I've seen a couple ways, so. Aw, but thanks. Yeah, a lot of people say that. So the other way that you can cut a pepper is cut the one end off, cut the other end off, and then make a slit and just kind of peel along the seeds on the inside. But I find it's a little more messy this way because the seeds kind of fall everywhere. Whereas keeping the seeds on the stem, they just stay intact a lot better. But this is a better way if you're looking to do like a fancy cut, like a brunoise. Oh, you like peppers, girl? Doggo snacks, always. Do I have any olive haters right now watching? I'm sure I have at least one that's gonna be like, ew, I hate olives. Fiscal, it's you? I would have never expected. So you need to cut off the rind part on the outside.
I didn't
That's
see
it.
it.
I'm just letting you know.
Okay, I didn't
It's
see
just
it.
on the
this
side.
side.
Look at our garlic, guys. Slow roasted in olive oil. We're like pretty much there. Like 90% of the way there. This is where we're at. Like a minute or 2 more. I'm just gonna clear off my board and then we're gonna pour the tomatoes into there. That is so funny, Fiscal. I mean, Sam used to be like that, my boyfriend, and then he started hanging out with me, and I slowly converted him, and now he likes olives. There are a lot of types of olives, though, that don't, like, taste how they smell, I guess. The really briny aspects. Right, so tomatoes are going to go in. Be very careful, because we're pouring some liquid into our oil, so it might splash a bit. So once again, just be careful, and I'm just going to take it off the heat. Like so. But this is like the best way to make this sauce. Like I said, I've made it so many times. The sound, yeah, terrifying, kind of. Just do a little wipe up of our splash everywhere. And then let's just give that a little stir. And then we're gonna slowly reduce that during the stream. And it probably won't be done until like right at the end. So I'll turn it up just a little bit to bring it back up to temp since we added cold tomatoes. And then we'll turn it back down once it starts to simmer. You gag when you walk past olives in the grocery store. Amazing. Good food. That sounds terrible. Okay, peppers. We're just gonna go for a nice little small dice here. Considering we're gonna cook these, they're gonna shrink a little bit, right? So you don't have to make it too small. Helicopter. The peppers kill it. What? Sneaks in most spice. You would, Chief. You would. We'll add the spice onto the potatoes when we roast them. But we'll keep the tomato sauce just nice and garlicky. Oh, Matt. What's up, man? You just missed the crazy tomato sauce. It was scary. Stuffed peppers, yeah. Haven't made those in so long. Peppers give you a stomachache, Helicopter. Well, that's no fun. See, that's a fair hatred then, if it actually affects you like that. You can still see crazy tomato sauce, yeah, but you didn't hear it. How was your day today, bud? Did you finish that report that you got last minute? All right, now we're gonna cut down all of these further. If you want, you can work on knife skills here, but you don't have to if you're in a rush. Because like I said, it's going to be cooked and they're going to get really soft, so don't worry too much about presentation here. You're 4 pages in. Oh my gosh. How many more pages to go? Phil House, hello, welcome. What's up? Tomorrow it is. So you can just like make up your own little deadline or what? That's kind of cool. I may have overestimated the amount of peppers I need. So we're gonna have some nice pepper snacks in the fridge chilling this week. Oh, maybe I'll have to make some hummus for it. We have like 4 cans of chickpeas chilling in the pantry right now. I'm doing good, Phil. Doing good. Just making a little pepper and olive tapenade as we speak. Just started it, so cutting up the peppers first, then we're gonna cook them down in our pot, make them nice and soft and caramelized. And then we'll add the rest of the ingredients afterwards. Okay, I think that's good. Never too many peppers. I know, I love snacking on these. I'm just gonna pack up the rest. Okay, maybe I'll leave a couple out to snack on, because why not? We be munching. Blacken the peppers? Like, what do you mean? Okay, garlic I'm just gonna slice nice and thin. Like so, and then that will be put in later on when the peppers are like 80% cooked. Otherwise the garlic will just end up burning. It's very interesting, Omat. I'm learning more about your job. Right, let's move this bigger pot to the back now. To the more powerful burner. Got this little guy heating up. Tomatoes are almost simmering. Get a little bit of olive oil down in our pot. And we'll toss the peppers in when that's hot. And then the next thing we're gonna do is prep the rest of the ingredients for this. So just looking at my recipe, we need some mixed olives, some Kalamata olives, some capers, and a little bit of dried oregano. Tossed. So here's our mixed olives, just gonna use those up. There's a couple of pickled garlic cloves that look really good in there. And here is our massive jar of Kalamatas. Phil with the follow. Thank you, my man. Welcome to the squad. Yeah, Omat's gonna be the master. Okay, let's put our peppers into this pot. Nice little sizzle, it's perfect. And then we'll just give that a stir every couple of minutes. Because these are pretty sweet, so I have a feeling they'll caramelize pretty quickly. Master of night owls. Yeah, you got that right, dude. Technically, it's medicine. Boom. Away we go. Smelling the olives. They smell all right still. So the mixed olives that I have are not pitted. So I have to take all the pits out myself. But finally I'm using them up and getting them out of the fridge, so I don't really care. Probably will end up eating a couple as well. And I may just keep this little bit of olive brine in the bottom of here to put into the sauce. And then I'll probably chop up this pickled clove of garlic and put that into there too. Flavors are really, really nice. We're not wasting nothing. Just grabbing my paring knife so I can start to de-pit these. This is the most monotonous part of the stream, guys. I mean, some of them are already open, so it's easy for me. And then we're just gonna rough chop these afterwards. I don't need the cherry pitter right now, I'm fine. It's good, guys. We're just going with it. Yeah, all of these little green ones are already opened up, so I'm fine with that. Now it's just the bigger ones. So I'm just cutting along the pit. Obviously, as close as I can. Then I'll just trim off the top and the bottom. Some of the softer olives, you should just be able to peel the pit out, like so. And then these are also calamatas, just pit in. So all I do is just split it in half and then open it up. Now all we have is these little green guys. Let's give our peppers a stir though. Purple knife, thanks dongs. These ones are like stuck to the pit. Kind of a pain in the butt because they are so small. But that's why I'm using a smaller knife here too. No chopping of fingers. One left. Right, what did that take me? What, maybe 5 minutes? Not as bad as it seems. Next thing up, we just need to take out some of the calamatas. I'm gonna try and use a slotted spoon for that. Good. Taste test, we're good. And we'll probably end up with like an even amount of peppers and olives in our sauce. So let's dump those all together. And then give them a little chop. And I'll just put these into a bowl. And then we'll pour the peppers in afterwards, after they're cooked. So let's put our brine into there right now as well. Keeping it briny. Just doing some rough chop action. You could also use a food processor for this if you wanted. But I'm just really used to using my knife for this kind of stuff, so this is a much smaller amount than what I would typically prep in a kitchen. So this is not work for me. And it's totally okay to have some bigger pieces of olive and some smaller. Just make it your own. Alright, that looks good to me. A Snicker bar salad. Love it. Dongs. Dongs is turning it up. Gonna rinse my hands off and my paring knife since it's all olivey. It's all olivey. Oh my gosh, oh Matt. Well, in the new place I'll start to get like chatbot in here, I guess. Since that's what you guys want. We'll change it up a bit. New and improved. Peppers are looking good. Let's stir up our tomatoes as well. Starting to come up to temp. Smelling good over here. Those are some colorful pots, hey? Song request in the channel would be muted. No, Jim. Just chopping up the pickled garlic clove. Very, very mild flavor in that garlic clove compared to a fresh garlic. Then we need to get just a couple of capers out. About a teaspoon, let's say. We should be good. I know, I kind of like the channel just being like us chatting. But I'm always used to cooking with music on, so at the same time, it's a little bit weird for me. Like, that's literally the first thing we do when we open the kitchen in the morning is get the tunes playing right away. Alright, this is where we're at for our tapenade. We're going on a caper. Now my board is all briny. Get a little wipe up over there. And then on to the next thing. So we're gonna cut up the potatoes next and then season them up and get them all trayed up so that all we have to do is stick them in the oven later to roast. Keeping these peppers moving around so nothing burns. And still munching my pepper snacks. Can I do a meal with fancy vinegars in it? Of course. I actually have quite a few. I probably had up to like 10 different fancy vinegars at one point. Betty was the one that typically bought them for me. She knows I like to play around with that, and I also want to start like making my own infused vinegars. It's not hard. And like the price that they charge for those vinegars in the store are ridiculous. And we are gonna peel these potatoes, guys. If you were using a more thin-skinned potato, then you wouldn't have to, like a red or a Yukon Gold. But since we're doing russet, I'm gonna peel them up. Everybody be out there brewing beers. Yeah, brew up some vinegar, man. I think peppers are about 70% there. They're almost soft. I don't know about that, Dongs. Typically, I would just try to get like an unfiltered vinegar. So usually you can find that in like apple cider if you get the organic kind. And then use the mother. So that's in the bottom of the, I guess, bottle that you buy. And then use that when you're done your vinegar to start making another vinegar. I haven't read up on this too much yet, but I really want to. And it's not supposed to be hard to do. I think the easiest one to do is just to use like an old red wine that you can't drink anymore, and then just put your mother into that, and then you'll start to make vinegar. It'll start to go more sour. These potatoes are really sad. The heck is going on here? It's like rotten from the inside. Potatoes gone bad, guys. Potatoes gone bad. No, these are the older ones. Oh, and when we worked at the brewery, the brewers would also make vinegar. So we had like a couple of beer vinegars, but we didn't end up using them because we didn't know if they were like made properly and safe to serve to people. So we did taste them, and no one really got sick when we tasted them, but we didn't want to get sued or anything like that if they weren't consumable. Mix what up, oh Matt? The good red wine and the vinegar red wine? Oh yeah, the beer vinegar. Nah, we had them in buckets. They were all closed off in a separate area, but that would have been funny. Good April Fool's Day joke. Hey, peppers look good to me. Where we're at, guys. So let's just take them off the burner and let them cool down a bit before we put them in with the olives. Give our tomatoes another little stir. But they're cooking away nicely. Should be good to go by like 6 p.m. An hour and a half more. What is toxic? Oh, the metal catalyst. What? Yeah, no, that's a sour beer. Yeah, the beer vinegars were like very kind of dull tasting. Not very acidic at all. Which they would have been good in like salad dressings and stuff, I'm sure. Pretty sure that's how you get malt vinegar. It would only make sense. Anything special tonight, oh Matt, or just the same old Weiss beer? Weiss beer. Skins. I know, let's fry these up. Potato skins for the win. Oh my god, this one is the saddest one ever. The potato is too wet when they're grilling it, so it got like bruised. Yeah. Interesting. I'll have to ask Robin. Yeah. Farmer cake coming up, guys. Look at this one, so much nicer. Boom. Hard work done. A beer aged in a burnt cherry wood barrel. Grapefruit IPA, a winter bock, a spring bock. 11.6. Heavy hitting sweet beer. That sounds so good. That'd be good with dessert. Let's do the spring box since it's the first day of spring. Miller Lite. We don't speak of those here, dongs. Limping, you're in here, you little sneaker. All right, this is the important part. So we're gonna start to cut up our potatoes, and we want them all uniform size, just so that they cook evenly in the oven and crisp up properly. So let's keep them nice and bite size. Something like that will do. Yeah, oh Matt. Get it cold, frosty. Yeah, hi Lemon. I'm quick poking out the eyes. Thanks, girl. It took me like so long to figure out what that was on the potato peeler. I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. Mies. Ah, she's screaming because she's late. Did you work today? Okay, Weisener IPA it is then. We're gonna roll with it. It's true, Chief. Size matters when cutting potatoes. And so I was saying earlier in the stream, like this was one of the first things I explained, is one of the recipes I found, they soak the cut potatoes in hot but not boiling water for 10 minutes. And then they dry them off. And I think that's what helps to make like your baked or pan roasted potatoes more crispy. It's like kind of pulling the starches out. Kind of the same way that they rinse off rice, I guess. So we're gonna try that today. Kate, 20-minute timer. Mia, you've been here since the start, but you fell asleep. Classic. It's rough. Jim, yes. You have a 47% gin? Oh my god. Dangerous. 96% spiritus. Spiritus. AKA moonshine, I'm guessing. Jim says, go hard or go home. McNeil, gin and tonic is awesome. I agree. Except for that one time. That's so cool, Matt. Okay, I'm gonna fill this pot with some water. Obviously not the full way, but just enough to cover the potatoes. Then I'm gonna bring it up, not to a complete boil, but we'll just get it hot and then we'll do our little soaking action and go from there. You started scorching the outside. Yeah, not totally convinced on this method though. I know, McNeil, there's always that one time. Okay, we might do story time while we're waiting. Since we're on a good roll so far, all we have left to do is prep the asparagus up. And it's what, 4:30? Oh, Arancello, yum. Pot's warming up. Stir the sauce. I just love the oil slick that stays on top of this tomato sauce. The bubbling cauldron. Are my streams always cooking? They are. Monday to Friday. We're always here. Just pouring my peppers into the bowl and then I'll show you guys how they mix up into our tapenade. Story time on the eyebrow cam. Yep, we'll do it. So let me soak this pot real quick. Really? I mean, I could see that if we're baking the potato, because that's what we typically do. Limping. But if it's already peeled, I don't think that will help too much. Okay, just giving this a nice little mix up. If you wanted to, like, you can completely saturate this in olive oil, but we have quite a bit of olive oil going on in the rest of our stuff today, so I'm gonna keep this a little bit lighter. And then this is just gonna be spooned over the pork tenderloin later on once it's cooked and sliced. Give this a little taste to see if it needs anything. Mmm. See what Betty thinks. Is it good?
Oh yeah.
It's like sweet and salty and
Yes.
briny.
All the things I love.
Betty says yes, guys. Yes to this goodness. So that can go in the fridge as well. Good to go. Sauces are being made. Yay, McNeil. Glad you found us. Yeah, hunger service is awesome too. Fiscal, you'll be okay. No gagging. Okay, quick gin and tonic story time while we're waiting. So it was one of my younger cousins' weddings that I'm pretty close to in Victoria. Before I lived here or anything like that, this was 4 years ago now, I think. Or sorry, older cousins. She's like 3 years older than me, I think, so we're pretty close.
Yes, it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago, really beautiful wedding on the ocean side. And I think it was an open bar. Or like a toonie bar at least. So drinks were really cheap. And then for some reason I got onto drinking gin, which I typically never drink, but they just tasted so good. Yeah. I was like, this gin tastes amazing, and definitely had too many. Ended up like puking by the end of the night, staying in a room with my brother. And then the next day, this is when Sammy was supposed to come and get me from this wedding, and like we just kind of started seeing each other at this point. And so he's waiting at the ferry terminal for me. And I was so hungover that I literally had to have a nap before going to the ferry because like I couldn't open my eyes or anything without being super nauseous. Yeah, the worst hangover ever. But everything worked out. Sammy waited for me at the ferry. He did tell me though that he debated leaving and just being like, screw it. She's not worth it. I'm not waiting.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you had to wait for like 5 hours for me. That's so bad. I felt super bad though, and everything worked out. So thanks, Gin-and-Tonic. Fiscal says I'm a pro. Yeah, I'm a qualified chef, McNeil. I went to school, culinary school 7 years ago, and have been cooking ever since. But just got out of kitchens in January. And started streaming instead. Have I touched gin since? I have, yeah. I'm not ruined from it. I think I'm more ruined from like vodka than anything. Smart fella chief says yes. I drank Jim. I get it now, Jim. Was drinking the gym. Just making sure this tomato sauce is not sticking to the bottom at all, because it is boiling pretty rapidly. The cauldron. Get our asparagus over here. Get it ready to be prepped, and then I'll also take out my sheet pans that I'll be using. Probably need 3. I'll do 2 small ones for the potatoes, and then a larger one for the asparagus. You know I'll be using my Silpat today. My silicone non-stick instead of parchment. You're thinking about doing an apprenticeship to become a chef. I mean, 28, you're never too late to do anything in your life, right? But I'm just gonna say this outright is you're never gonna get the pay that you think you deserve. And it's really, really hard work, but the schooling is so much fun. Like, that was for sure one of my favorite parts, is just learning everything. But if you want to become a chef, then by all means pursue that. Time goes by really fast, and you will have fun for sure, but like I said, it's really hard work. You won't have much of a life either. But other than that, you should do it. Yeah, it's all about the experience. And even if you don't follow through with becoming a chef, at least you'll be able to cook really well. And there's always other outlets if you know how to cook. Like, I started streaming. Or go do like catering or be a private chef. Yeah, see? So I never cared about the money too much either. And no, you don't end up hating food. I mean, you shouldn't. If you're a chef, you should always love to cook, no matter the situation. What's a good sauce for a salmon? I typically like to do like a dill cream sauce, but you could also keep it a little bit lighter and do like a honey garlic sauce or maple and garlic. Or even something like a soy and honey. Get that sweet and salty kind of contrast on there. Yeah, hating food sounds like a crime. Okay, let's use our silpats for the potatoes. And then I guess I'll use parchment for the asparagus. Let us check out the time for our pork. 27 minutes, guys. Woohoo! Oh, cooking is totally like art. That's exactly why I do it. It's like instant gratification, just like seeing your plate of food that you just made go out to a table. And like the person taking a bite and just like having the best smile on their face. It's like, yay, I made them happy. You were going to Johnson and Wales in Rhode Island for pastry, so you never followed through limping? Yeah, it's like part art, part science. Two things that I really love anyways. Like I was always into biology and stuff like that. And then I am very creative in the artistic sense. Yeah, look at Gordon. He blew up. I mean, there's always that chance that you're gonna get famous and become a celebrity chef and make millions, but you have to work very, very hard. Let's just put it that way. Oh, Matt, you never roasted asparagus. Is it different from the oven ones that you would usually make? No, it's the same thing. Just I think I'm going to use a much higher temperature than you would. So like 450 Fahrenheit. I'll convert that to Celsius for you real quick. Because I know you'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about, lady. So 230 Celsius. I don't know if I have like any vodka stories. At least not that I remember.
Maybe I should tell them a story.
You ended up in psychology and philosophy. Engineers for the win. So that's what Sammy was gonna do too. He did a little bit of schooling and then ditched out and became a chef. Ham and cheese with asparagus, that sounds amazing. So all I'm doing, Omad, is I'm going to trim the ends off, toss them with some olive oil and cumin and salt and pepper, and then roast them up. And they'll probably just like get a little bit of char on the outside, I'm hoping. Kind of like a grilled asparagus, but I'm not using the grill today. Do you need to go to Cordon Bleu to be a cook? No. Oh, another Aussie. Nice. No, there's a bunch of different culinary schools out there that you can take. I went to one in Alberta called the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, and I did a 2-year program. Really long days. We typically start at 7:30 or 7 and finish around 3 or 4. But that kind of gets you prepped up for the hours that you will be working in the kitchen later on. All right, our water's boiling. So I'm just gonna turn that off, let it cool off for a couple seconds. And then I'll drop these potatoes in before they start to turn brown. Yeah, that's true, Matt, because the cheese has some liquids in it, and then also the ham. Like, ham has way more liquid in it than you think it would. Especially if it's not dry cured like a prosciutto. McNeil with the follow. Thank you, dude. Welcome. Welcome to the squad. So yeah, like all of those liquids that seep out of those two ingredients are just gonna kind of steam your asparagus in the oven rather than letting them crisp up. But that does sound delicious, oh Matt. Now I want some ham and cheese asparagus. Limpin' just spamming the onion. I may or may not be snacking on some Gruyere. Your mom's on a 21-day diet and you're planning all our meals. That's amazing, Fiscal. You're only on day 2. Well, if you need any help, get into our Discord and then scroll through my little recipes section if you want some inspiration. Cheese is life, I know. It's totally life. I could not live without it. Like, that would destroy me if I had a dairy intolerance for sure. Who's my favorite celebrity chef? I would probably say Gordon. But Canadian-wise, I'm going to go with one from the East Coast. His name is Chuck Hughes. Probably one of the first Canadians to get onto Food Network later on. And then he had a show called Chuck's Day Off. And then he has 2 restaurants in Montreal. I do love Jamie Oliver. He has great, great cookbooks. It's too hard to like choose one favorite celebrity chef. There's just so many of them now. Do I believe in food critics? I mean, obviously the more acclaimed ones, I would trust them. But even then, you're putting your own palate into the hands of someone else and what they like to eat. So I never fully trust what any food critics say. Oh, Matt likes the Simple Recipes by Jamie Oliver. Yes. Yeah, we have one book here, I think, from him. So, so good. And then what was the Italian guy's name that would always be on his show with him? The older guy? Those were always good episodes. Gustav? No. Our sauce is looking good. We're about halfway there, I would say. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to start though, Omat. Just keep it simple and then you can expand your palate after that. Do I like pozole? I love pozole, Thunderstruck. It's like my favorite Mexican soup. Oh, Fiscal. Emerald was like one of the first Food Network chefs that we would watch. I was like probably 10 when he first came on. Yeah, does it say his name?
Honestly.
I hate dropping stuff into hot water because it always splashes. Terrifying. Exactly, McNeil. But I guess it's always good to get other people's opinions of the food that you cook. Gennaro. Yeah, Gennaro and Jamie. Loved those episodes. Okay, I'm just gonna set a 10-minute timer on the stove for our potatoes, and then we're gonna strain them out and see what happens. I'm so intrigued by this. Onto the asparagus. Actually, before we do that, I'm just gonna take a quick little bathroom break and I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, sounds good on that. Let's not let that explode. Okay, I'm back. It's so quiet. Yes, limping. Except for our cauldron bubbling away. Yeah, exactly. The sound of food cooking. Cooking would not be as fun if there were no, like, sounds. Totally wouldn't be. Like, that's such a huge part of it. How much asparagus, guys? All of the asparagus. Yeah, hearing bacon sizzle in the pan, like, how do you not just start drooling right away? So I'm gonna take these up, let's say probably 3 inches. Take all the woody stalks off. And then set those aside. Do I cook elaborate dishes every day or do I keep it simple? I like to do a mix of kind of everything during the week. In the last 2 months that I've streamed, I have not made the same thing twice. So I'm gonna try to keep going with that and see how long I can last by staying creative. But yesterday I just made up a Thai shrimp soup with coconut milk. And what else did we have with it? Some stir-fried rice noodles, so that was quick. And then salad rolls. So kind of using a bunch of the same ingredients, but showing different ways to prep them. Loriander, hello. How are you? It's been too long. What were the salad rolls like? They were delicious. How is it today, Betty?
Really good.
Betty had it left over and it was still really fresh. They didn't fall apart or anything overnight. The earth called. They're missing their asparagus. I know. I stole it all. It's okay. We'll move on from the grammar. We'll be okay. You always ate the whole asparagus, Thunderstruck? See? Now you learned something. Wasn't it always really tough to eat the end part, though? You think the dog's hungry? Yeah, she likes snacks. I can give her a little piece of the asparagus stem. Lori, how has work been? I feel like you've been really busy. Oh, she'll luck out. She gets the tip, the best part. It's the most tender. That's a good way to do it too, Loriander. If you're unsure, I'll do a little demo. Just trying to keep this pile from going everywhere. So what Loriander is saying is just take your asparagus and bend it, and wherever it breaks off, that's where you typically should trim it. So these ones are really high up, which I feel like that's wasting a bunch. That one was a little bit lower. So let's just go somewhere in the middle of that. Let's take an average. You bet Sammy loves these pants? What? They're just leggings. That is so funny, Thunderstruck. Well, I'm glad I taught you something to enlighten your asparagus eating. McNeil. Yeah, you'll see a lot of different things on this show. It's pretty tame today, I must say. No, it's true, Matt. You don't have to explain. She's getting thick. Okay, let's see if Doggo will eat the asparagus or if she thinks it's too chewy. Ready, guys? She's gonna be like, what is this? What have you done? Oh, she's just taking little bites of it. It's good. We did it, Lori. We taught them something new. How many times have I cut myself? I think I've burnt myself more times than I've cut myself. But honestly, cuts are way better than burns, because burns, like, don't settle down after 24 hours or until 24 hours. Whereas a cut, if you just bandage it up, good to go. Maybe cut myself, like, let's say 5 or 6 times. Nothing too crazy, though. Stinky pea night. Yeah, totally. Whew, air fresheners be going tonight. Yeah, this asparagus, honestly, it does look very nice. It's not huge. Do I have any tips on doing a chef apprenticeship? Well, first thing I would do is see if there's any grants. Because what we have in Canada is if we do an apprenticeship, we actually get all the money back that we spend on schooling. So that makes it worth it. Yes, go into the kitchen with limping. No, Lori. There's actually a couple of you guys in here that have been like dealing with a lot of stress. Stay strong, my peeps. Sending you well wishes for sure. Take those deep breaths, guys. That's the potatoes. Oh, Matt, get your beer out. You go get that beer. Just gonna do a little straining action over here at the sink. Alright, so those are strains. Just gonna let them chill out. Strain for a couple more minutes and then we'll dry them off, probably with just like a dish towel. We're not gonna waste any paper towel. Yes, I actually just came from Vancouver. I worked there for 3 years at a brewery that we opened up. But Vancouver is so crazy, dude. Like, it's way too expensive to live there. I mean, maybe coming from Australia, it won't seem like much to you, but we're paying like $2,000 a month for a 700 square foot apartment. Not really worth it, considering the wages that you get. Like, they're gonna start you at probably $15 or $14 an hour. Yes, Death. That's kind of where we're at too, dude. We're on point. Okay, let's get our sheet pan for our asparagus and get this seasoned up and ready to go. And we have 5 minutes left on our sous-vide as well. So everything is coming together. Thunder, have I ever wanted to visit a country to learn about their cooking? So I have traveled quite a few places over the years. A little bit like earlier on when I started cooking and wasn't as serious about it. So I would work like a good 8 to 10 months and then take 2 months off and go traveling. So I did quite a few countries in Europe. I've done a little bit of Southeast Asia for a couple months. And that's just the beginning. Trying to decide how I want to put my asparagus on this pan. Might need 2. Haha, I got you, butt. Yay, Lori. Yeah, make some changes. You'll be good to go. Take care of yourself first and foremost. Like, that's the most important. Your body is your temple. Yahtzee. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, you've been here since almost the beginning, hey? You've seen it grow. Slow but steady. Okay, just setting up our other sheet pan now. Because what we don't want is our asparagus to be piled up on itself. because then it's not really gonna roast. It's more just gonna steam. So you want all of that surface area spread out and as much air circulation as possible. So this is where we're at on the first sheet. Probably be able to spread that out a little bit more. What's my favorite type of cuisine? That is really a hard one for me to answer. But I'm probably just gonna choose Italian because I love pasta and pizza so much. I really don't know if I have a favorite though. I think I've cooked almost everything on stream so far. Maybe not enough like Middle Eastern or kind of African or Ethiopian dishes. But yeah, I really do like to cook everything. Okay, that's looking better. Oh, Thunderstruck. I love No Reservations. Anthony Bourdain is one of my favorites for sure. Like all of his shows. And I just love his personality. He does not give a crap. I do love Indian food too. Also guys, sorry for the dog next door. It's being super annoying and loud. Alright, I'm just gonna grab my squeeze bottle of olive oil and some cumin. We're gonna do the pre-ground. McNeil with the biddies, thank you. Yahtzee. Could you even imagine? Man, Yahtzee, I love you. Just pop in here out of nowhere. Giving me all of the compliments. So let's get a nice little drizz here. And we'll toss them around afterwards, after we get the salt and pepper and the cumin on. McNeil, what is my signature dish? Betty, what's my signature dish? I don't honestly think I have one. But I think my go-to, okay, so that's our sous vide. My go-to would be like a really nice whole roasted chicken with some potatoes and root veg. Or pastas. I've made quite a few pastas already. All right, Anova. Stop it. Yeah, I do like making homemade pasta. And then another thing that I like to do is bake sourdough bread. So I've been experimenting with that quite a bit in my off times. Let's get this pork out of there. Just gonna bring a plate over so I don't drip everywhere. Do you ever cook with, or have I cooked with truffles, and how does it taste? So that is so funny that you asked that, Lori, because I made truffle aioli today to go with the potatoes. And then I've only actually worked with fresh truffles twice. Here's our pork tenderloin. Just came out of the sous vide. So nice. So I'm just gonna set those aside. And then we'll be pan searing them later to finish. Get some nice color on the outside. And we are done with the sous vide, so let's unplug it. So I think the one dish that we did with truffles at the restaurant had something to do with like mushrooms and cream. And then I got given a truffle over Christmas last year from one of my last kitchen jobs, I guess, let's say. And we made a mac and cheese with it. So we made up the mac and cheese, baked it, and then just grated the fresh truffle on top. Really, really good. Some fresh cracked pepper onto these guys. Thunder, you heard sourdough bread is a probiotic. I don't know if it's like so much a probiotic, but using the natural yeast will help so much with digestion compared to using like commercially made yeast. So the stuff that you would buy in the stores. Because with sourdough, you're just using the yeast pretty much out of the air to help your bread rise. And to me, that is like one of the most magical things to make. Like you're making something out of just flour and water. And somehow it grows on its own. White truffle is expensive. Yeah, it is so expensive. If you can afford it though, for sure try it like at least once. Because truffle oil does not do a fresh truffle justice. KO Matt. I'll check the beer in a sec when my hands aren't full of oil and seasoning. So you just want to get your asparagus nicely coated with the oil and the seasonings. And that way it'll roast up really evenly. Don't be shy with your olive oil either, because that's what helps to brown the asparagus. All right, that looks great. They actually all fit proper on there. McNeil, I actually have a request to make lobster mac and cheese still, so that stream will be coming up eventually. Next thing we're gonna do is dress our potatoes to be roasted. And then we're also gonna turn on our oven so that it gets preheated, and we're gonna start roasting this stuff ASAP. Let's go, guys. So 450 Fahrenheit or 230. And I'm gonna use convect just because we will have quite a few pans going in the oven. Probably just roast one pan of asparagus to start, and then the other pan will be roasted afterwards for lunches tomorrow. Yahtzee with the Instagram shout out. Amazing. Yeah, that's one of my favorite outlets. Like, maybe I should have went into food photography. Hi, Sammy Sam.
Hello.
Alright, so let's pour out our potatoes onto the sheet pans. And then once again, we'll start by dressing them with olive oil. You finally tried saffron, Lori? That's awesome. I was gonna ask, did your ham come in yet? Since I'm cooking Spanish food right now. Let's talk about that Iberico ham. Lobster mac and cheese with a side of fried chicken. Now that is dirty. But I like where your head is at. Okay, I'm checking the Discord real quick before I carry on. A Weizen IPA. That sounds so good, Omat. Love Hefeweizens. Alright, let's get that Drizz cam on here. Hi.
Hello.
Good amount of olive oil here, because we're not deep frying, right? Keeping it somewhat healthy. Okay, I just have to pop outside for a second, grab the smoked paprika. So, la chinata, aka pimentón, is what's going on our potatoes. Just pour a little bit into your hand to start because this one doesn't have a little shaker top on it. And then just cover your potatoes nicely. Some subtle bananas. That sounds so good. A Hef IPA. Something I've never had. Okay, dust off our hands. That looks good to me. Smelling nice and smoky in here now. And now this is our cayenne. It's ground. So just a little bit of spice, and we're gonna go light on this. Let's not go too heavy. Just like a single sprinkling over top. And now our salt and pepper. That's a good question, McNeil. I mean, I could only hope that people try the food that I make for themselves at home. But if they don't, at least they get good ideas and then make it their own, right? And last but not least, black pepper again. And then we'll toss these up. And then when the oven beeps, they're gonna go in. And they should take about 20 to 30 minutes. It's not the most special IPA, but it's refreshing. Well, it did its job then, I think. Potatoes are running, or at least trying to. Okay, Lori. I thought you meant you like just started playing around with it. Yeah, saffron is really good. In the right dishes, let's say. What? The ham arrived and it's at your parents' house? So jelly. My think I got some paprika up my nose. I feel a sneeze coming on. It got me, guys. So let's spread out these potatoes as well. That way they'll crisp up really nice, not being piled up on top of each other. Yucky hands. All right, guys, we're pretty much there. All I have to do next is just dry off the pork and get it ready to sear. And then we're good to go. Give our sauce another little stir. Like I said, we don't want it to start burning on the bottom. I'm gonna turn it down just a touch now. It's reduced by an inch already. An inch in an hour, so that's really good. And then I like to keep this sauce nice and chunky. So I'm not going to blend it up at all either. The cauldron. What's in the sauce? So 1/3 cup of olive oil. I know it seems like a lot. And then 8 cloves of garlic. And I roasted the garlic in the olive oil before I poured the tomatoes in. 2 cans of diced tomatoes. And then that's been cooking for an hour now. Just a really nice roasted garlic tomato sauce to go with the crispy potatoes. It's a must. Right. Let's dry off the pork so that's ready to go. And then we're just gonna do some cheese shavings, manchego cheese, so that they're prepped and ready to go. And that's gonna garnish our potatoes as well. You guys, it looks so good. And the crust actually like stuck right onto the pork. Look at that. Second one. I'm sorry on that. Sorry. So this was cooked at 135 Fahrenheit. So between medium rare and medium. And look at, none of the herbs even came off on the paper towel. So good. And then the drier we get this, the nicer it's gonna sear up for us later on. Still being pretty gentle with it, because I don't want to rub any of the herbs off. All of that work we did earlier. Just give it a nice firm press. And you should be good. Smells amazing, by the way. I know you guys can't smell it. I'm sorry. And those are good to go, and they're already seasoned. So if anything, we might just have to sprinkle a little bit more salt on after we slice it. Just to finish, and then that's it. That's an interesting one, McNeil. I mean, that does make a lot of sense, right? Sometimes it's hard to not overeat, though. I know, Loriander. I know. Just my freezer was too full last time. I needed to clear out some pork chops before I could buy tenderloin. Okay, let's set those aside. And get our cheese out. So this is what I'm using. Not quite a manchego, but that's the closest thing I could find to like a nice Spanish cheese. Aged for 9 months, sheep, goat, and cow's milk. Perfect. Potatoes are going in the oven, guys. McNeil. Yeah, overeat every day. Yum. There we are. There's the rind. It's nice and dark. Can't wait to try this. Is manchego widely available here? It's actually not, Omat. I was having like such a hard time trying to find it at the stores. What I'm gonna do first is just switch up some of our oven wraps before we start. Moose cheese from Sweden? Never heard of it. Potatoes are in. Let's do 15-minute timer. And then we'll give them a little toss around when that goes off. Yeah, it sounds intriguing. I guess it's just because it's so far away that you Europeans can easily get it, whereas we can't. Or just people here don't eat it as much. I'm not really sure. But yeah, this is the closest thing I could find. Just gonna trim off that rind on the one side. Gone. I know, it looks really close. It's called Iberico Reserva. I don't know. Let's do a little taste test here. Mmm. That's a delicious cheese. Definitely get the sheep and goat's milk in it, but it's not overpowering like just a straight goat's cheese. And then it also, you can tell that it's aged right, because when you eat it, you get like kind of those little salt kernels that you crunch down on. So, so good. It's like one of my favorite parts of eating an aged cheese. I just put a couple pieces to the side because yum. Milk producing mousse. Do they still have the Roxy restaurant in BC? Yeah, it's in Whistler. Pretty sure. That's what that is? Just gonna rinse off my little peeler here. Or actually, we have a backup peeler. Wherever it is. Different kind, but it'll still work. Manchego with fig chutney. Yum. I'm into it. Is that the husband checking the goodies? Yeah, he always comes in and checks on me. You wanna say hi, Sammy? Oh, Matt's here.
Hello.
And some newbies.
Hello. Hi there, everyone.
Hi, this is Sam.
It's me. Or Chili Balls Barry, or No Beard Sam. Or
Barry
beardless.
the beardless.
Yep. Hi guys.
Barry no beard. Yeah, that'd be so good, oh Matt. I'm pumped. Okay, I need to get another stir on this. But it's looking tasty. Sam, you have to come read what Mia said. The camera's turned down though. He's lucky to have a personal chef. Well, he's a chef as well, and he's cooked for like twice the amount of time that I have. But he changed careers. We gets. What does it mean?
V Gates.
What is it?
How are you?
Oh yeah? Any beers being had? It's past 4 already. I know, they just got home a little while ago. No beers yet. And for our little manchego cheese, I want to get some nice ribbons. So I'm going to try and go the thicker side here. And just go slow and steady.
That is crazy. So he was able to not even sleep. So it was the rest
Looks so good. Is Sammy German? He is. He was born there and came over to Canada when he was about 3 years old. So is he a better cook than me? Some things definitely. But he always says I'm more creative than he is. Whereas he knows more of the basics than I do, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense.
So they have your kids, right?
That's what it translated to, Loriander. Yeah, he understood what Mia said too. Yeah, so he lost a lot of his German too because he just doesn't speak it anymore. Okay, I think that's enough shavings. Maybe. Maybe we'll give Doggo a little snacker. She's never had this before. I always like to expand her palate. And I'm just gonna put that into a little bowl. But how was dinner though? A stream cook-off? That would be so much fun. Do a little black box challenge. McNeil, we are gonna start streaming some quick brunch streams when we move to the new house. So stay tuned for that. That'll be like weekend mornings when we're both together. Yum. Cheese, please. All right, that's it. Gonna pack up this cheese and put it back in the fridge. I'm sorry, oh Matt. I know our cheese drawer is like on point this week. Box macaroni. That's always good though. One of you makes the black box? How will that work? I'd be down to like take the camera around the kitchen and let you guys decide on the ingredients. I think that would be the most fair way to do it.
Or then send me the ingredient
They
list
have
and I
to
have to
send
go.
a list.
Send Sammy the list? But then he knows, then that's cheating. You guys, here's the matzah for the pizza on Friday. Like, look at that squish. It's so soft. You guys could vote on ingredients. That sounds good. Katjang Pettis. What is that, oh Matt? Actually, I'll Google it. I had to check back. Yeah, you'll totally have to make a straw poll for the ingredients. Katjang Pettis. Some newts. Spicy crispy nuts. That looks so good. Man, you guys have such good snacks over there. It's not even fair. What? Loriander's gonna ship us the black boxes? You're crazy, dude. I'm so into that though. But honestly, you don't have to do that. I'm sure we could figure out a less expensive way.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah, it's totally Indonesian. The Deutsch.
Oh, I'm gonna get
The
it.
Dutch kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get a sneaky peek. Oh. There's some stuff going on in there, guys. Alright, I can get our can ready
Yeah.
for the tenderloin.
There we go.
And then we'll need our little microplane to get our lemon zest onto our asparagus after it's cooked. It's so spicy. Is it really good with the beer though? I'm sure. All right, we're looking good, guys. You're looking good. Olive oil can go away, and I'm gonna switch that out for some grapeseed, which is what I usually use to sear off meats. Yeah, exactly. Peanuts in any way with beer. Always a good time. Then we need some tongs, and we might need a splatter screen. But I dried off the pork tenderloins pretty well. So I'm not too concerned about splashing at this point. All right, we have less than 2 minutes on our potatoes, and then we're gonna toss them up. And then that means there's 15 minutes left on them. And then we'll probably put the asparagus in when there's about 10 minutes left. So T-minus 15 minutes, let's say, until we eat. Which should put us pretty close to being right on time. It really is quiet today, yeah. I mean, it's been steady though, Matt, which is good. McNeil, I just saw your comment. I should get someone to blindfold us and do a tasting competition. That would be difficult, I think, for sure. To actually like get a winner out of that, because we have pretty good palates, I think. You'd have to get some pretty weird stuff in here. Yeah, we got good vibes going on today. It's because it's springtime finally. And plus I've been snacking on cheese, so it's always good. Cheese. The cheeses. Okay, eat those ones. This one's first. And then that one. Tough times. It's autumn in Australia. Craziness. Mia. Good vibes, creepy vibes. Why? Why is it creepy? What have we done? Yeah. Get a little toss around here. See where we're at. We're definitely starting to brown up. I think with this silpat, they're kind of cooking weird though. I don't know. Just keeping all the fat on there for us, I suppose. They're getting there though. Another 15 and I think we'll be golden.
So will the potatoes.
Pardon?
I said, so will the potatoes.
Let's do 5, just so that we know when to put our asparagus in. Who of us has the best palate? I do? Sam says I do. They're the only two vibes. Good and creepy. I like it. Okay, let's get this proper. There we go. It was below 0 Celsius. Ah, that's killed. Omat's turning up the creepy vibes. Mia. Show the bobs. You once did a gin blind taste test with over 40 ingredients in it. That's crazy, Loriander. Well done. Does the carpet match the drapes?
Who's that?
Not here. We got all kinds of colors in the carpets over here. The creepster level is turned up. Limping.
Who's asking that? Oma?
No, everyone.
No, it was Oma.
No, it was Mia and Butt too. They're allowed. The only creepsters allowed, it's true. Just open the bobs. Yeah, every time. Why are you ignoring me? Why you no answer? We're bad, guys. We're bad. Look it, we already lost a viewer. Limping, you're the wholesome one? I don't know about that. It's always good when your mod is being creepy. That's when you know. You're the best, but... One minute, 30 seconds. We're almost there. Let's get our sauces out. The sauces. I make marination. There's too much competition. Loriander's confused. Rando the sword. Hello, self-meter. What am I cooking today? So I did an herb crusted pork tenderloin, which we're just about ready to sear off now. This was cooked sous vide. And then we have some Patatas Bravas on the go, so Spanish style crispy potatoes with tomato sauce. And I made a Truffle Aioli to go with them. Tomato sauce, yep. It's happening. And then I also made a really nice, cutting me off, pepper and olive kind of relish or tapenade to go along with the pork. Show the armpit. Okay, so potatoes, I'm gonna move one of them down to the bottom rack so that I can put in one tray of our asparagus for dinner. Let's do 10 minutes. And shall we turn on our pan for our pork? We're almost there, guys. T minus 10 minutes. How can I ignore? It's true. I can't stop looking. What are they gonna say next? How is this tomat? Yum. So now you can see that the garlic is starting to break up. So I originally did have whole cloves in here. Now all we have is remnants, which is perfect. Make that slow sauce. I'm also gonna give that a taste. So it probably needs a little bit of salt. I can make curry very nice. I'm just imagining all of your guys' accents while you're typing this. It's perfect. It looks tasty. Thank you, self-meter. Love goes to the stomach. Guys, self-meter is getting upset. And I'm sorry, but I'm already marinated.
Yeah.
Let's try the sauce. Oh, smells delicious. Roasty, toasty, garlicky. Sammy, you know this one? Yeah. Polsh. You just missed the madness. Leg day was not kind to you? That is sad, dude. I mean, it's never usually kind to anyone. Mmm. It's really good. It just needs some salt to kind of round out the flavors. Do about a teaspoon to start. It's okay, Posh. You didn't miss the good stuff. We were just being silly. All of the good foods have yet to come. Do you think she even has bobs? Touch more salt. Let's do the same amount that I added last time. So we're up to 2 teaspoons now. And this is the only salt I've added so far. Okay, I'm gonna taste this real quick and then my pork pan is pretty much ready to go. Perfect. Make sure all of our oil is fully covered and fan is going up, guys. You know what time it is. Boom. Sounds good, Polish. You can go play games, dude. You'll see my Insta post later on, I'm sure. Song request, send Bob's. Should only take a couple of minutes per side here. Yeah, that's sizzle. If you need to, you can prop the pork up on the side of the pan. Vajun, yeah, that's a good one, guys. Yeah! Woohoo! Guys, you broke it. The top was too hot and you lit it on fire. Yeah, smoking hot. See what she did? You almost broke it. It's been a while. Probably like a good month. Limping. It's not even Thursday. Why are you so thirsty? A little bit more and then we're good. Then our pork's gonna just set up and we'll get our slice on. Guys, Tasha's scared. She's shaking. We need to lure her in with some cheesy snacks. Alright, we good. Porky goodness. Shall we get a peek? Yeah, exactly, self-meter. If only we had smell-o-vision. I know, first ban out of everything, or like first auto mod of everything that you guys were saying. You're crazy. Yeah, send the food instantly. Let's check it. Oh. Asparagus is cooked perfectly. See how I kind of just like bent it? So it's nice and tender. Now all I have to do is finish it off with some lemon zest. And then I'm just gonna check our potatoes. Obviously to see if they're done and to also see if they're crispy. They're actually crispy. Why? Okay, we're here. We're here. Potatoes are good. Succulent looking fruit cakes. All right. I'm gonna let this bigger one rest for a little bit longer, so I'm just gonna slice into the smaller guy here. Do I drink wine with the meal? Sometimes. Let's get our first slice, see what we're looking at. Nice. And this is why we cook with the Sous-Vide, guys. Perfectly medium. Like, do you see this right now? I'm just gonna taste this end piece to see how it's seasoned. It does need a touch of salt. So I'll just sprinkle some flake salt on when I plate it up. There you go, guys. Should be good now, guys. Okay, just zesting the asparagus real quick. Some lemon. All right, so one of the first things to go down onto the plate is gonna be our tomato sauce for our potatoes. So let's put that on the one side. You can put as much or as little as you want here. Do like that amount. And then our tapenade is gonna go on the other side for our pork and our asparagus. Like that, guys.
When I read Omat's thing, it's like, what's that sexy time guy?
So potatoes
What was that movie?
are going on top of our sauce.
I can just hear him.
Pile them up nicely. Like that. And I'm just gonna put the asparagus kind of over top of our tapenade like that. Now, coming over to you guys.
Can you show that to me?
First things first, guys. Let's get a little wipe. And let's just do a little dollop of the truffle aioli. And then you can just leave that on the table if people want to use more. But we'll keep it pretty tame to start. And then just a little bit of our shaved cheese over top. Should kind of melt in a little bit. And now the pork. Probably take like 4 to 6 pieces. And then just kind of lay that out over the asparagus so that it gets eaten with our tapenade. So this is where we're at so far. Now all we need is our Maldon salt. And we good. Mia, I'll show you the wine in a sec. So just flake our salt over like that. Here is our wine. Stag's Hollow. It's called Tragically Vital. And it's 2016. It's a white. If you messed up and grated the cheese, you'll be okay, dongs. You'll be okay. Just let me take a quick photo and then we're gonna munch. And no, I have not been reading your scary things in chat so far.
It's crazy. Andre, who's the guy that, what movie was that? With the sexy time?
Borat.
Borat. Oh, Matt, you're just like Borat. I can just hear it now. It's a sexy time.
All right, one more time before we destruct. Yum. It looks like steak almost, hey? The way the pork looks. Okay, let us try. Let's start with the patatas. Get a little bit of sauce, a little bit of cheese, and aioli. It's really good. So get the nice roasted garlic from the sauce. Potatoes are nice and crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside. And I like that I put the paprika on the potatoes to help them brown up instead of into the tomato sauce. And by all means, you can spice this up a lot more than I have. Chief, if you're in here, that's for you. The stinky cheese with the truffle aioli is like the perfect combo. All right, I'm gonna scoop some of the tapenade onto a little piece of pork here, like so. HPX, hey dude. Perfectly like sweet, salty, and briny to go with the herbs and the pork. And then obviously our asparagus is pretty simple here, just cumin and lemon dressed. It's perfect. Like, cumin is a pretty strong herb or spice, so I'm glad it didn't overpower the rest of the dish. And everything pairs really nicely together. Delicious. Once again, all the recipes are on Discord already, guys. So for all the newbies, the invite is on my channel page. Sweet and spicy, why are you upset? Temp and time HPX, so 135 Fahrenheit for an hour and a half. All right, guys, that is it. I'm gonna call it a day just so this food starts to not get cold so we can eat it nice and hot. Thank you everyone for being in here today. Great Tuesday, lots of fun was had. And I hope to see you next time. I'm back again tomorrow, all through the week till Friday. And my schedule is also on my channel page as well as my socials. So I typically use Instagram the most. And that's it, my peeps. Love you all.
Great success.
Yeah, great success. High five.
High five. Oh man.
I know, no dessert. I'm sorry. Tomorrow though? Yeah, tomorrow we're making dessert. Okay, good night, guys. Love you. See you tomorrow. Thanks, sweet and spicy.